Hi, this is David Heine, Aspect Art. Today we're in front of the gallery Lieve, where we're going to talk with the owner, Koen Nieuwendijk, who's going to tell us about his current show, which is Ben Snijders. Ben Snijders specializes in nudes and still lives. His nudes are very, how shall we say, sensual, but also they evoke the personality of the model. Most of the paintings in this show actually are already sold, so he's a very popular artist. So join us now for Ben Snijders at the Lieve. We're at an exhibition of Ben Snijders. He seems to have carried the nude into the 20th century in fine shape. Is this his specialty?
Yes, well actually he's very well known because of his still lifes, especially his blue still lifes. But since years he's very focused on nudes. And it took him several years of preparation, finding the right models, right women, and made a lot of sketches and finally made a lot of some paintings, and some of it are shown here.
And as I look around, I see that much of it is already sold, so he's very popular with the collectors?
Yes, but that also took quite some years. We cooperate with him more than 20 years, so in Dutch we say it's not just of yesterday.
Now, what school of painting would you categorize Ben Snijders in?
Well, we have a very common name for it. We call it contemporary realism, so we can use it next millennium too. And if some name will come up, I don't know, probably it just happens. These names are not things you can find out or invent, that's the word. Sometimes it has been done like Cobra, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, how we call it.
You represent a certain group of painters. Do they have a common bond or common style that might be discernible?
Well, common bond, yeah, my personal preference. That's true. And yeah, partly they are very different, but there, of course, it's because it's my personal preference. There are some things in common, and one of the most important things is light. All these painters are very able to manipulate with light. That means painting is not a part of the world, it's a world in itself. And it will give the strongest impact if the painter is able to well, I can't find the English word, to exaggerate it, to put it on another place than it would be in nature. So also all these still lifes are right in front of the painter, and my other painters, they are doing something with it that makes it, well, not special is not the word, but that gives it suspense, that's the word, suspense, yes.
Getting back to his specialty of the nudes, you say he worked to get a certain group of models. Now, he seems to capture their personality very succinctly in these paintings. Is this also part of his specialty?
Yes, but not for purpose. It's just he's looking for models, and sometimes the character, the emotion is there, and then the paintings come. But he also made quite a lot of paintings of models that doesn't fit, doesn't match his expectations, and most of the time these were not the best paintings. Not bad, but we didn't show them, or he didn't give them to us, let's say that. He didn't finish it, or he did something with it, I don't know what. Anyhow, these paintings of these models are what he expected it should be. Yes.
Now, I noticed that the painting right behind you sells for 32,000 guilders. Is there a group of collectors that like Ben Snijders particularly? Because that's a good sum for a nude in the late 20th century. Is he well collected or in any museums?
No, he is in some Dutch museums, but not many. It was not done the last 20 years to concentrate on realism. So there were quite few, only 3 or 4 galleries who had the courage to do this. But the average citizen goes his own way. So we have an extended, circle of clients who like Snijders' works and the works of my other artists, and they are passionate today, and they fill their houses. They buy of each of our artists 1 or more works, because they like it, because they recognize the emotion, the sensation, the passion. Yeah.
Recently we did a show in Rotterdam at Boijmans of Dutch Classicism, which was a group of almost unknown in this day and age painters like Everdingen, but in those days were very popular. It seems to me that there was a decline in the nude. Is there now a kind of revival in nude portraiture?
A revival? Let me think. Well, it has been done always. It never stopped. But because as I just said, it was almost forbidden the last 20 or 30 years. It wasn't shown, and probably now these problems are solved more or less. There are more artists who catch this subject. So there's not a revival of the nude, there is a kind of revival of just doing what you want, whatever you want. And part of it is contemporary realism, and part of that is the nude. So, kind of revival. Yeah.
I noticed in your lovely catalogue of this show that the writer mentioned the close affinity between his still lives and his nudes. I didn't quite understand that. Could you explain it a little bit?
Well, yes. In saying that, I refer to the importance of the light on the subject. And once a nude has some blue clothes, and once you look at the still life and you remove, by way of saying, the objects, then it comes quite close to each other, these paintings. But another point, of course, is I always try to find some explanation why, of course there are differences between still lifes and nudes, why he is doing this. And every answer is only a part of the truth. There's always something hidden and not clear. But in some of his still lives, since long, he is painting nudes as a painting into a painting. So in these paintings, the nudes are part of his still life. So it's not, again, not an explanation, but just a glimpse maybe of what's happening in Snijders' mind.
Koen, thank you very much for talking about Ben Snijders. It's a great exhibit.
You're welcome.